that is because we're working today on our second chakra. We started on the root chakra yesterday, Muladhara. We're working today with Swadisthana chakra, and yeah, it's going to be fun. So we're going to start off down on our mats in a wide-legged position. So you're going to go down and you're going to draw the soles of your feet together and let the knees come out. So it's a Swadisthana position. So come towards the front of your mat. Just engage a little bit through your core muscles. So lift the pelvic floor as we were doing yesterday. Engage through, just pulling gently back through the belly button, and then release. Do that a couple of times. That area is going to help you on your roll down to your mat. Take a nice deep breath in and peel your spine down slowly with control, lengthening out, observing where there might be a few vertebrae that run together. That's okay, that's just your spine unfolding this morning. Tuck the chin under. And then just draw the feet in towards the bottom slightly and allow the knees to come out to the side. If you find that lifts a big arch in your back, just lift up the bottom and settle the lower back down again. You'll have a little bit of a natural arch anyway. So you're in a wide knee position, opening up through the groin, through the adductors, the inner thighs. Just taking the hands to the belly. So you can have the middle finger touching at around the belly button level. Shoulders are nice and relaxed. You can have the eyes closed still at this point on a Tuesday morning if you wish to. Just gently softening the eyes and coming to rest your attention on your breath. So if you know your Ujjayi breathing, you can use your Ujjayi breath here. So your Ujjayi breath is a breath that makes a little soft noise from the back of the throat. And it's a breath that helps us really slow down, particularly the out breath. If you're not familiar with it, you could just take your hand in front of your face and you could just breathe out in a kind of as if you're trying to steam up a looking glass, a mirror. It's that kind of sound, that kind of feeling. It's like you're kind of restricting the back of the throat. That kind of sound that you're trying to make, but then you close the mouth and you make it through, just letting someone in, through the back of the throat. Hi, Mary. So just seeing how that breath works for you as you're lying in Swadisthana. On the out breath, just making a little bit of restriction at the back of the throat, so you're making a little bit of a sound. And watching the out breath slowing down. You can use it on the in breath as well, but that takes a little bit more getting used to. Just working. It's called the victorious breath, Ujjayi breathing. And you'll notice that it just gets used all the time during class in all different asanas. I will just sink into my Ujjayi breath. You'll hear me going into it. Sometimes I think of it as my Darth Vader breath, because it makes that little strange sound from the back of the throat. Good. So the chakras are energy wheels, energy vortexes located on the spine. We did the root chakra yesterday, which in its most simple terms you can think of as your survival, your support, your rootedness to the earth, your stability, security. We're moving up to the second chakra today, which is called Swadisthana chakra. And it's a very different feeling in Swadisthana chakra. So it's all about pleasure, joy, enjoyment, creativity, sensuality. So it's a nice one to be coming into on this beautiful sunny morning. Let us just allow ourselves to bring the hands down to the outside of the thighs. Gently draw the knees up. Your groins will probably say thank you for that. And draw the knees up onto the chest. Little rock from side to side. So your root chakra is right down in the pelvic floor, the perineum, right on the tip of the tailbone. Your Swadisthana chakra is very close related. It's not very far away. It's a couple of finger widths up the spine. So it's actually at the base of the spinal column. So not the tailbone, the actual base of the spine. So that's the area we're focusing on. So it's all about the pelvis, the hips. You might want to take this into quite a nice big circular movement now, just guiding round with the knees, letting it flow. Good. There's lots of freedom to play and smile and have a little bit of an experiment with this chakra. So we're going to bring the feet down, heels close to the buttocks. We're going to lift up into our bridge position. Then we're going to have a little play when we're up in bridge. So take a breath in, press down through the lower back, start to lift the hips. So you're bringing the hips high, breathing out, you're going to float back down. Just working up and down the length of the spine, keeping the chin tucked in, arms gently by the sides of the body. So just see if each time you come up, you maybe lift a little bit higher. And you start to work into the strength of the legs. So you'll be working with your breath length, always taking care to come down, bringing the spine down in order on the out breath, and lifting up high on the in breath. Watch that the knees don't start to move out to the side as you come up towards your full bridge. Press into the big toe joints. And then next time you're up in your full bridge, just have a little wriggle and a jiggle through the hips. So it's almost like you're creating a figure of 8. It's a little bit of a sachet. Okay. What is it that RuPaul says? Sachet away? It's a little bit of a wriggle and a jiggle. Snake hips. And then come back to center. Press down through the feet. Lift even higher. Big deep breath in. And beautifully slow out breath. Coordinating the movement of the spine to fit the full length of the breath. Good. Nice. Draw the knees to the chest once more. Having a little sway side to side. Then take a breath in and draw the forehead up towards the knees. Rounding into the wall shape. And then bringing the feet back down to the mat once more. We're going into a figure of 4. So you're taking your right ankle, or your left ankle, doesn't matter which one you start with, onto the top of your opposite thigh. You're opening up, so you can take your hand at that same thigh that's out to the side and press into the middle of the muscle. Curl the toes back on the foot that's across, so my right toes are curling back to protect my knee joint. And then we'll take this a little bit deeper, so we'll thread the right hand through, lift the left foot off, come into our full thread the needle. So you might be feeling that now in the outer hip, or for me it's on my right side. And you're going to rotate through the ankle. Good. And although that rotation on the ankle is way down on that left foot, you can feel it subtly moving things around, just increasing the sensation, the feeling in this outer right hip. Good. And let's release down. Keep the feet in the air, hands in the air, have a little wriggle. Little jiggle in your best dying fly. Lovely. And then let's take thread the needle on the other side. So first of all, just opening up a little bit through that hip sockets. Curling the toes back. And then threading the hand through, clasping around the back of the thighs. So you interlace the fingers. And then working through your ankle rotations. Good. And let's think about releasing back down to the mat. Again, having a little hug in. And then taking the feet nice and wide, letting the knees come to one side, the head looks the other way, knees up to centre, head looks to the opposite side. So rolling across the back of the pelvis. We did this yesterday as well. Rolling across, so press down across your lower back as you sway through the hips, nice and loose. A little bit of rotation going on. Nothing too hectic. Should feel quite a nice sensation, a freeing sensation. Good. Lovely. So the element associated with Swadisthana chakra is water. So you can feel that everything we do today has a bit of fluidity about it. A nice looseness, a nice feeling of flow. Coming back to centre when you're ready. Drawing the knees in. So you could flow up to sitting here through your spinal massage, or you might roll over onto your side and come up gently sideways. So just see how it feels to take a full rock the length of the spine. You take it all the way up into the neck, down to the tailbone, through the Swadisthana chakra. Good. And then when you're ready, coming up to sitting. Good. And just sitting now with the legs out wide. And we're going to stir things up. You might even think of that Bob Marley song. You're going to come over to one side, over to the other side, and back around. So you're opening through the inner thighs. A nice bit of work going into the lower back. And again, just make it flow. Maybe 4 times round in one direction. And then when you come up to centre, letting it flow round the other way. Good. So you might be making a potion here, creativity potion, a sensuality potion, a potion of joy. You could be putting all sorts of elements in there, stirring it up. Good. And then just resting your hand down your left leg. So your arm is just resting down your leg. You're going to open that top right shoulder, start to look up to the side, lift the right arm and send it over the top. Keep both buttocks anchored down. You're getting a nice big lift through the right side of the waist, the intercostal muscles, the armpits. Keep breathing. Good. And when you're ready, we're going to float back up and down the other side. So really deliberately open that left shoulder now. Keep Both buttocks anchored down. As you breathe in, take the arm up. As you breathe out, float it over and look up and under that top arm. It's a really quite powerful stretch through the side of the legs. Good. And breathing in, coming all the way up once more. Roll it through the shoulders. A couple of times in one direction, a couple of times in the other direction. And then draw the feet, legs together. A little bit of a wriggle out. And just drop the chin gently down to the chest. See how many double chins you can make. And then float the chin over towards the left shoulder and up a little bit. Feel how that is for your neck. And then gently roll back down, nice and low with the chin. And up to the other side. Couple more times. Working into sensations you're feeling in your neck. You may be hearing little noises, little creaks as adhesions start to loosen, stuck tissue starts to loosen a little bit. Good. And then next time you're coming back to center, taking a breath in and slowly unfolding. Good. We're going to power up a little bit through the hips now. Coming first of all to our coffee table. No idea what the Sanskrit is for this. So your feet are hip width apart, hands are behind you. You might have the fingers pointing back if that feels more natural for your shoulders, or hands pointing in. All you're going to do is take a breath in. As you breathe out, you're lifting through the hips. Just look up very gently towards the ceiling. Don't throw the head back, it's too heavy. And then release down. Lift up as you breathe in. Release down as you breathe out. Lift up. And release down. This time just take a little soft forward fold. Releasing over. So if you know this kind of position and you want to work a little bit more deeply, we can come out, we can straighten the legs down the mat. Feet come together now. And once again, we're breathing in, lifting up. So make it about the hips leading you up and hips leading you forwards. And breathing out, coming down. This time we're going to soften into a forward fold. So it's going to flow. Breathing in, you're coming up. Breathing out, you're lifting all the way with the hips. Toes coming down to the mat. Or you may be still working in your tabletop. Absolutely fine. We're still opening up through the front of the body. Breathe in, come up. Breathe out, lift. Good. Nice bone loading through the arms, the wrists. Breathing out, you release forward. Once more. Good. And softly releasing forwards. So if in this forward fold it's really strong through the hamstrings or the lower back, soften through the legs, just release it off. Don't work with anything that doesn't feel comfortable. We talk about just pushing towards our edges, but we never go over the edge. Good. Take a breath in, start to slowly unfold, coming all the way up. Lovely. I'm going to come round now onto all fours. So you might want to take a little pleat in your mat to protect your knees. Good. If the wrists don't like it, you could come down onto your forearms, or you could work with your fists. So don't put too much strain through the wrists if they're not happy. You're looking straight down towards your mat. Lovely. And you're just going to start making some really small circles with the hips. So tucking under with the tailbone and then opening up. Nice and fluid. And then round the other way. Good. And then back to center. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, release back towards your heels. Send the arms forward. Take a breath. As you next breathe in, you're going to lift back up to all fours. Keep coming forward. Roll the hips forward. Lift the chest. Good. Breathe in gently back to all fours. Breathing out, floating it back. Nice little bit of flow. Breathing in, coming up. Breathing out, release the hips, lift the sternum up. Breathing in, coming back to all fours. So we're going to take this circular movement through the hips a little bit bigger now to do draw our figure of 8. So for this, you imagine that you've got a crayon, a pencil attached to your nose, and you're going to draw a figure of 8. It's usually quite wonky, so you can come round the top, across the centre, out to one hip, roll it across the other side, back to the centre, and back up to the top. When you're at the top, you can change direction if you want to, or you can do 3 or 4 in one direction. Let this feel floaty. Let it feel like you're almost moving in water. You're just letting the body flow as it wants to flow. So we've got the element of water attached to our second chakra, and it works with the endocrine system, the hormones. And when you're a little bit blocked, a little bit stuck in your second chakra, when it's out of balance, you yourself feel stuck. You feel locked, you feel set, you feel unable to move forwards, you lack zest, you're trying to control everything. So it's nice just to free up in this kind of movements. Good. And then when you're ready, just sending the tailbone back, releasing into Balasana, pose of the child. Hands down by the feet, head resting on the mats. Good. And then you're going to slide the hands forward once more. Bring yourself back to all fours. Tuck the toes under. Send the bottom back. Lift it up into your downward facing dog. Have a little comeback. Good. And then bring yourself forwards into your plank. Lovely, we're just going to snake through again. So your easiest option is to bring the knees down, let the hips come forwards, lift up. If you know you're snaking through, you bring the bottom back, you snake along the mat, and you lift up. Lots of different options. Good, lifting back, tucking the toes under, downward dog once more. I'm just going to do that again. So releasing forwards into plank. Allowing yourself perhaps just to bring the knees down, hips to drop forward, for that lovely motion of coming back, using the strength in the arms to lift you up. Good. We're tucking under, we're going up to downward dog once more. And again, just resting, paddling out, finding the position that feels right for your spine in downward dog. So it doesn't matter if the legs stay bent, relax the head, flattening through the shoulder blades, sending the hips high. Good. And then you're going to walk the feet towards the hands or the hands towards the feet. Come into your hairpin. And when you're in your Uttanasana, just check where the weight is. If it's got into the heels, soften the knees. Bring the weight forwards. If the lower back's tight, bring the weight forwards. And then have a little sway. So you're just going to let the fingertips come to the outside of the heels. There's a big, deep U shape that you're making with the fingertips. A little gentle sway from side to side. Good. And then coming back to center. Softening the knees, we're going to ragdoll up to standing. So take a breath in. Breathing out. Slowly, slowly coming all the way. Couldn't find an orange t-shirt and an orange hoodie is too hot now, the sun's coming through. So just standing for a moment in Tadasana. Finding a position for the feet. It may be hip width apart, it may be arches together, it may be toes apart, toes together, heels apart. Good. Rolling the shoulders up, back and around. Releasing the fingers down the sides of the thighs. Press down through the soles of your feet into your mat. And then breathe in and lengthen up through the crown of the head. Good. So with Swadisthana Chakra, we have to come into a bit of hula hula work. Take the feet a little bit wider, hands onto the hips. Roll it around. Nice and loose. Knees are soft. You can go quite vigorously if you're wanting to create a little bit more energy. This always reminds me of lovely Jeff Cushing. He used to do this with great vigour. And making sure you go round the other way. Lovely. Loosening into those hips. Good. Got a big release there. Nice. And coming to a standstill. We're going to take this a little bit more into a bit of slinkiness for the whole body now, if that's the word. We're going to breathe in, bring the arms up overhead, bring the hands together, palms together. You're going to think about being a fish in water. So you've got a very flexible spine. You can sway, you can slither, you can slink. And you can see your scales being just caught in the sunlight as you dart through the water. So your hands are just going to come side to side. You're swaying, you're making a few circles, you're making swaying side to side, you're making perhaps one or two, they might be small, they might be big. See if you can just let your body control this movement. So there's no head involved. There's no ego present. It's letting your body feel flow, feel connected. Fluidity. Good. Nice. And then the next time you come up to the top, or working at different patterns, coming up to the top, just lengthen upwards, interlace the fingers, turn the palms so the palms are facing up towards the sky. Good. And reach up through the palms of your hands. So a big stretch through the sides of the body. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, let yourself sway over to one side and look up and under. Bring yourself back to center as you breathe in and over to the other side. Bringing in back to center. Another big deep breath in, lengthening even further, and a big slow release of the out. Good. And just standing, quieting down for a moment in Tadasana. Good. Taking the feet a little wide now. Having them come out at a 10 to 2 position. Lovely. Just seeing what it feels like to take a little squat. So working a little bit into the thighs now. So just watch when you're squatting down and you're not doing this kind of thing. Allow the spine to stay nice and upright as you come into your squat. Lovely. And if you're trapping the hands down, you can just make sure that perhaps one knee isn't falling in a little bit. My left knee always wants to not stay pressed out and aligned with my ankle when I do this. So something that I'm just aware of. Good. Lovely. And then we are going to take this into our full goddess spot with our lion's breath. So we're going to make it a little bit dynamic just to get some energy flow. Feel that connection to your creativity. If you're feeling a bit stuck, this is a nice way to release. So draw the feet together. If you're not familiar with it, it's a funny one. You're going to be staring at the tip of your nose as you stick your tongue out and make some noise, basically. That I have the pleasure of demonstrating. So I'm going to breathe in, bring my arms up. As I breathe out, I'm stepping to the side and it's a I'm breathing in, coming back to center, breathing out. Join in when you're ready or just laugh at what I'm doing. There's more to each side. Last one. Back to center and releasing the hands all over. Good. Have a little wriggle, have a little jiggle. And then just soften into Tadasana once more. So the symbol of Swadisthana chakra is the 6 petaled lotus. The root chakra had 4 petals, we moved up to 6. It also has a beautiful thin crescent moon as its symbol as well. Obviously with the elements of water, the moon controls the tides, it all links together. Good. We're going to move into our dancer pose now, Swadisthana. just to work a little bit into that feeling of creativity. So you might want to be near a wall or a door, or something that you could just have a little bit of help with for your balance. We're going to be taking the weight through one leg. So let's go with the left leg as our standing leg. Just soften into that knee so you're spreading the foot. And just see how it feels to come up on the toes of the right foot. You're starting already to take your weight through that left leg. Good. You see about making a connection with your ankle or the top of your foot. What's important here is that you feel that you are not doing this kind of thing. You're not taking your hips out of alignment. So draw the thigh parallel. Open through that right shoulder. So you might want to, if you have a belt, you could hook the belt around the back foot. If you've got wide-legged trousers on, you can hold onto the back of your trouser. See how it feels. We're getting a nice quad stretch here. Good. We're just going to release this down. Take a breath in. Release out of that stretch. Have a little jiggle. We'll take that quad stretch on the other side. Give a bit of preparation. So weight through the right standing leg now. Come up onto the toes of the left foot. And see if you can fish back behind. Draw the thighs back parallel. If you're not feeling anything, you can take both hands to that foot. Draw the knee back a little bit more. And also just curl the toes down towards you to really switch on through the front of the big quads. Four big quads in each side. Good. Lovely. Take a breath in and release down with the left. So we're going to go back to that quad stretch on the left side and take it into our full retro-dancer. So you're back with the weight through the left standing leg. You're finding the connection between your right hand and your right top of your foot, or the ankle. Deliberately open that right shoulder. Good. Extend your left arm up into the air. Gently engage through your core, so you're lengthening yourself as much as you can upwards. Good. And your dancer may just be that now that you are looking to press the foot into the hand and just start to extend the foot back. That might be as far as you go. If it feels good, you're taking it into a back bend. You're lifting the back foot higher and higher as the body just comes a little bit further forward. Keep trapping the hips so that knee has just gone straight back. It's not gone out to the side. Lovely. You're a beautiful, elegant, creative, energized dancer. Take a breath in, releasing back down. See if you can bring that right knee all the way up and release the nose down towards the knee. You'll feel it releases into the lower back straight away. Good. Take a breath in, release back down. Nice work. Good. Maybe a little wiggle and a jiggle through the hips to release the lower back. And then we'll work that on the other side. So weight through the right standing leg, taking hold of the left ankle, left top of the foot, finding that point of balance, extending through the right side. Really engage through your pelvic floor. You'll feel the lift that it gives you. Much more stability. Open through the left shoulder. And you might stay in this position. You might start to push the foot into the hand. Energize up through the back bend as you come into your dance. Good. Take a breath in. Start to slowly release. You're looking to bring that left knee up. Take hold under the thigh. Let the nose come down. And then release the left leg down. Good. A little hula hula again. Good. And then we're going to take a nice soft forward fold. You're keeping the hands on the hips, lifting up through the chest. Take a big breath in. Bring yourself forwards through the chest, folding at the hip creases. Relax the head, relax the arms. Be as soft as you need to be through the knees. Good. And then softening the knee. We're going to bring the arms out to the side as we open. Lovely, well done. Okay, good. So we're going to work with our sun salutation flow now and just bring in a little bit of a hip opener. So make this nice and soft and fluid as we work through. Come towards the front of your neck. Bring the hands together at the heart center. Join with me if it feels right for you in thoughts, words, feelings of compassion to those in the world less fortunate than ourselves. To the four corners of the earth, we send compassion. To the north, south, east and west, above and below, we send compassion. And let's begin our sequence. So we're going to breathe in, open up, take it into the gentle back bend, you're looking up to the sky. As you breathe out, we're going to float it down like a waterfall, falling down to the earth. You're going to do your half lift, just extending slightly through the back of the legs. And then you're going to soften down once more. The right leg is going to step back, nice deep lunge. And the left leg to bring you into downward facing dog. Good. You're coming forwards into your plank. Lovely. And it's your way of going into cobra. So it may be that you bring the knees down, soften the tops of the feet, roll the hips down, soft elbows, lifting the heart, the sternum. Tuck the toes under. Downward facing dog once more. We're just going to vary it here now. We're going to bring the right knee to the right wrist to come into a brief king pigeon pose. So your left leg is going back down the mat. I'll show you from the front. You come to have your right knee to your right wrist. Your right foot is coming across as best it can. If it doesn't feel good in your knee, come onto your back and come back to work in your figure of four. Good. If you like this position, is that the wrong word? If you want to work more deeply in this position, you are coming down onto your forearm. Soften into the conversation that's going on with the outside of your right hip. Do not resist it. Good. Take a breath in, coming all the way up. Tucking the toes under on that back foot, stepping it back. Paddling out in downward dog now, so you're releasing that right knee. Good. And then we're going to step forwards with the right foot. So stepping through, give it a helping hand if you need to. And the left foot comes forwards. And we're opening out. Good. Let's go on the left side. We're breathing in, opening up. Breathing out, water falling down to the mat. Looking up gently and releasing back down. Left foot is stepping back, nice deep lunge. And the right. Good. Forwards into plank. Strength through your core, through the back of the shoulders. Your way of finding your cobra. It might be your full chakra. Hovering and lifting. Good. Back up to downward facing dog. Now we're going with the left knee towards the left wrist. So you're in this kind of position. As you sweep forward, bring that left foot across. In the books, you'll see it that they have a kind of right angle at the knee. For us here, more taught we work with what our bodies are telling us is comfortable. Sending that right leg away. If you're feeling good, you can come a little bit deeper. But it is a strong stretch, so work with what feels right for your left hip. It might be quite different to your right hip. Good. Take a breath in. Slide the hands back up. Tuck the toes under on the back foot. Stretch it back out in downward dog. And have a little paddle out. Paying attention to that left knee. Good. You're going to step forward with the left foot. It might only come part way. Bring the back knee down. Help it to come forwards. Right foot steps through. And we're opening out to the side. Good. And releasing all the way. Just standing for a moment in Swadisthana and stillness. Feeling the effects of the posture, the sequence. And then we're going to slowly come down to the mat. So it's coming down any way that feels appropriate for you. And we'll work briefly into an inversion. So a nice one to think about doing for honouring your second chakra is to come up into your shoulder balance. I'm going to show this work to you. So you're working up to your shoulder balance. You're going to stand the legs up high, and then you're going to bring the feet together. So we're in the same position that we started off on the mat, but we're doing it vertically. So that's an option. By all means, work into your half handle. You have your cushion or your block. Place it underneath the lower back and allow the legs to come up into the air. You can hold gently around the back of the thighs. You can put your belt around the soles of the feet, or you can just have the arms gently by the sides of the body. You may return to your Ujjayi breathing here as the breath softens, the body still. Just working that breath from the back of the throat. Soft, gentle sound as it comes out on the exhale through the nose. Let's think about starting to release. So if you're up in your shoulder balance, please take care to walk the spine back down to the mat using the support of the hands. Good. You might want to briefly visit your fish, Matsuyasana, legs away down the mat, hands tucked in inside the body, press down on the forearm, crown of the head coming to the mat, heart lifting, throat open. Only a couple of breaths required, and you gently melt back. Draw the knees to the chest. Take a breath in and round up to your full ejector. Release back down to the mat. Keep the knees where they are, arms coming out to shoulder height. Keep the knees zipped together. Take a breath in. Let the knees go over to one side as the head turns to look the opposite. Press the knees together as you can. Breathing in, coming back to center. Breathing out, releasing to the opposite side. Knees staying together. You can use your hands as a little bit of an anchor if you wish. And on your next in-breath, gently allow your knees to come back to center. Hugging in, big smile on your face. Creativity, joy, enthusiasm, all beautiful characteristics of your second chakra. Time to release down to the mat into Shavasana. So again, you might want to work with the feet wide to the knees bent. You can allow the knees to just roll in to support each other. Or you may feel you want to have the legs down. The hands are gently away from the side of the body. Check in with the back of the neck if it feels it wants to be supported by a cushion or a block. And wiggle and jiggle as much as you need to find your place on your mat. Yeah. Feeling that the body is fully supported by the mat. Coming into the mat. I'm just going to read out now some different affirmations that are associated with the root chakra. And just see if any fit with what feels right for your body on this Tuesday morning. I love and enjoy my body. I have healthy boundaries. I'm open to experiencing the present moment through my senses. I am passionate. I feel pleasure and abundance with every breath I take. I nourish my body with healthy food and clean water. I am open to touch and closeness. I allow myself to experience pleasure. Emotions are the language of my soul. I take good care of my physical body. I am at peace. Time now to gently release from our relaxation. Taking on some deeper breaths. Inviting small movements into the body. And when you feel ready, just rolling onto your right side. And gently coming out to sitting. The gift of Swadisthana chakra is experiencing our lives through feelings and emotions. Pleasure, sensuality, intimacy, and connection. Namaste.